Gaffer, lunchtime kick-off this Saturday against Barnet. They've been pretty consistent since they've come up from the National League. What kind of challenge do they pose?
Really good challenge. Don't want vein of repeating myself. Anyone's a good side in this league. They're professional players. Dean has got a style of football he wants to stick to and play, and they've had a few good results. We watched a couple of games lately. They had a great draw against MK Dons, and to take points off them is always a decent result. And they went to Cambridge last week, and we're very unlucky, and so we've got to respect them. We've got to make sure that we are on our game, because they've got some dangerous players. The Stead is a good player in there, and a couple of exciting wingers they've got. So we've got to make sure that we are on our best game, because I want to keep backing up this unbeaten run, and we've started, and we had a tough sort of October, but last couple of games I think we've done well.
I think both promoted sides have looked pretty good this season. Do you think, generally speaking, the gap between League Two and National League is shortening?
Yeah. Oldham was one of our toughest games, really was, away from there, and we came away with a win. But I said to Mickey Mellon after the game, that was probably got away with that one a little bit. So it shows the standard of the National League. Back in my day, I played at Northwich Victoria back in '91, I think it was, and it was proper part-time and it was non-league, But now there's all sorts of professional setups. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some better setups in the non-league than there is in the league, and that's saying something, because a lot of people have got decent training grounds now and decent facilities. But there's some money in the National League, and I know they're campaigning for 3 up and things like that, because they believe they can compete. I love our pyramid. I like the way we're set up. We're the only country in the world with 92 professional teams and 4 tiers like we've got, and I think the system is fine how it is. But I also think that you rightly say it's not a big bridge anymore. I think the gaps probably in the leagues now are getting bigger, because the money in the leagues, League One to the Championship and all that gap, that's a huge gap, and Championship to the Premier League, again, an astronomical feat. But it's going to be a tough game without a doubt. Just round the corner again. Similar style that we've just faced with Crawley, and we're going to have to be at it to get anything out of this one as well. Just
finally from me, housekeeping wise, does anybody come into the squad? Armani Little was the one that comes to mind.
Yeah, we will. I think Armani's definitely fit to play now, which is great, and we've got Seb back, which is brilliant as well. And 1 or 2 others I think are very close. So we had a decent squad last week. Really pleased with where we are. So 1 or 2 knocks, but nothing serious. We're going to make sure that, like I say, we've got to be on full cylinders on Saturday, and early kick-off. I don't want that catching anyone out. We'll prepare the right way, and hopefully get 3 points.
Yeah, for those watching, 12:30 kick-off Saturday. Matt, I know you'll be there. All yours.
I'll try and be on time. Just thinking about the longer term absentees as well. I think you spoke about Ewan Williams and Conor Moss and last week that it might be nearer Christmas. Is that still the case?
Yeah, probably looking into December for both of those 2 now. And again, big players. It'd be like having new signings, for me a month early. So really looking forward to them 2 getting back. Conor's a real leader at the back, a real warrior of a centre half, and Ewan obviously he's sort of mentoring from Bradley Dack a little bit. We see Ewan in a very similar role in that attacking midfielder role. He's got full of energy, and hopefully he can. I know the bits between his teeth. He's had just 1 or 2 minor setbacks after his shoulder injury, and it's been a tough season for Ewan. First day of the season he gets a fall on his shoulder and pops it out, and needed surgery. So it's been a real tough year for him so far. But new signings, those 2 in December. But apart from those 2, everyone else seems pretty in good shape, and looking forward to that.
Just quickly on Ewan, he must be desperate to impress, mustn't he?
Yeah, I mean,
get in front of you and then show.
It's unbelievable. We had a MK Dons at the end of last season, and he played in that game. I think it was MK Dons, and he came up with a horrendous dead leg just before half time. So it's it's unbelievable the look that he's had, you know. And it might have been Wimbledon, one of those games anyway. But he came off with a dead leg, and I'm thinking he's never going to get his chance back. You know what I mean? He went to Port Vale last game of the season, but not really seen you in yet. And it'll be interesting, you know, for me being here now, you know, sort of 8 months or something, 7 or 8 months, and not having seen a player really. Looking forward to that one. But yeah, everyone else fit for the squad, and hopefully we can be strong against Barnet.
No, Armani Little's been a very important figure to Gills over the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
So what does he particularly bring when he's in the squad?
Yeah, he's the captain. When I came in, I wanted to look at the entire squad and do I needed to change the captain, but his character's spot on. You know, he's a real winner first and foremost, but he's an example in training and he does it the right way. So Armani is definitely, you know, that leader that we need sometimes in the middle of the park. You know, he's an engine. He drives. He rats around there. You know, and I think that he's been missed when he's not played. So yeah, having Armani back, having him fully fit, you know, will be great.
Just a little look back to Crawley and ahead to Barnet. It felt like an open game on last Saturday against Crawley. He was saying it was great advertisement for football.
Yeah.
I need to do football like that as well. Are there times when I know you were sitting in the stands where you feel like things are slightly out of your control as a coach?
Yeah, and that's, as a manager, that's the thing you hate, you know, when the game's out of your control. So we changed formation a couple of times to try and get a little bit of control back. We did, but then we lost it again. And as I said last week, give credit to Crawley, you know. I did say that, you know, they deserve something out of the game, and I stand by that. I watched the game again, and I actually think we had some really good chances as well, you know, and the Bradley header obviously being onside is a big turning point. So yeah, I'm more swaying to us maybe edging it, but Crawley possession wise, you know, they were superb last week, and that's how they play, and it's nice for Scott Lindsay to have that delivery of what he wants. You know, it was really nice for him to have that, and that's you know, something that we've got to contend with this weekend, because obviously Dean Brennan knows what he wants, know how he wants to play, and we'll have to contend with that as well. And obviously we worked hard this week on what we can do against that.
Different challenges tactically, more or less every week in League Two.
Yeah. Honestly, no two teams are the same, and it's brilliant. That's football. That's brilliant in football. I'd say the Premier League probably is the closest where styles. There's a lot of possession-based styles, and obviously sitting off teams because they're so good up there. And then when you've got the best possession teams, your Man Cities, your Liverpools, your Arsenals, you know, they tend to be at the top of the league. But in League Two, you have teams who are happy with 30% possession, teams that want the 70%, teams that don't care if it goes either way, and the styles are hugely different. You don't get a lot of that in the Premier League. It's so that's why I think lower league football is still so exciting, and that game last week, you know, as a TV spectacle was brilliant for the neutral. But as you rightly say, you know, as a manager, when you lose control of the game a little bit, it can be terrible, and we tried to gain it back. We did at times, but fair play to Crawley. You know, they started committing bodies forward, and that's how they ultimately scored. But you know, we take a point. We're 2 unbeaten. Let's keep that going, and that's something I want to do.
Is the challenge, talking about the different tactics you're using almost every week, for you as a manager, is this the most challenging part of your career almost?
No, this is me as a manager. I've always been like this. So my tactics change quite weekly to win games. I always said, when people say what style do you perform, what formation do you, and I always answer that with the one that wins, and that's what I'll always answer it with. I will always change to the style that I think will win the game. That's me as a manager. That's how I want to be a football manager. I think if you pigeon yourself into one style, one formation, you've got to be blooming good at it, because sometimes the greatest strength as a manager is being adaptable and changing to get a result. We did it earlier in the season. We changed total tactics against Walsall when I took Joe Bold off at half time and put Josh Andrews on, you know, just to win the game, and it worked. And I think that's something I'm pleased I see. Whereas some people say, oh well, we want more of the ball, we want more possession. And I'm thinking, well, I just want more goals, and that's how I'll get them.
looks like that was key to your recruitment over the summer, in that you've got players that can do a number of different jobs,
Yeah.
or like, can play different ways.
Multi-positional player is really important, because I'm slimming the squad. I'm still slimming the squad down, and it's important to have players who can play different positions. Robert McKenzie's a prime example so far of what he's done. Gareth McCleary, again, a signing that could play anywhere, and also Max Clark with his ventures in midfield this season already. You know, he's saying that we're trying to educate players really to play different positions for us, because I think it's very important, and that's the way I manage, and so far so good. Looking
at the games you've had so far, and the runs you've been on, both winning and not winning, you're 7th in the table now. If you can cast your mind ahead to sort of April, May time, could this be a very, very tight season for you guys as well?
Yeah, of course, you know, and if we casted our mind forward now, today, and said we finished 7th, I think everyone in Gillingham would say that's a huge success after last year, you know. So, no, we're really pleased where we're at. My biggest shock is we've only played, I think, 16 games and 17 games, 16, I think, and it's crazy. It feels like we've had about 30 already. It really has gone ridiculously quickly. And I honestly couldn't believe it the other day when somebody said, yeah, we've only played this amount, and I'm thinking, wow, we're not even near halfway yet. But I'm loving it still. But we've been through quite a bit this season already, you know, personally and as a team. And I think, it's going to be interesting. But come April, May, I'm hoping we're at the right end of the table. You know, I know this club for the last few years is historically sort of fallen away at this time, but we've got to maintain the momentum. We've got to maintain the quality performances that we know we've got, and hopefully we can stay amongst it all.
And you're about 6 weeks away from the transfer window as well. I know plans will be afoot. I'm not expecting you to tell us who you're going to sign or what you're going to sign, but is that's an ongoing process, obviously? Yeah,
always. You know, transfer window or not, if you're 6 months away, it doesn't matter. You're still looking at players. You know, we monitor players. We have scouts all over the country. We have a recruitment team that will give me options and give me players. But the one thing we refined, I think, this year was I'll be the one who has the final say on that. You know, there's a lot of clubs who probably have people who like to put their opinions in, and if heads of recruitment who bring people in. We've got a great head of recruitment in Andy Hessenthal, who says, look, I can give you all the options, but Gaffer, it's your choice, it's up to you, because you've got to play these players. Hess is old school, and that's the way I like it, and that's what I wanted when I came here. I will take full responsibility for the performances on the pitch and the players that enter this club. Me, on my own, I'll take that responsibility, and that's the way I like it.
And just finally, how far are you away from the dugout now, from the technical area?
Not far at all. You know, I think within a week or so, 2 weeks maybe, I think I'll be back in that dugout. You know, it's been hell trying to watch from the stand. Even worse at home. You know, that was really tough. So now I'm a step closer. You know, it's brilliant to go over to the Rainham end just before the game on Saturday, and you know, I was worried about how quick I would get up to my seat, and luckily I didn't miss anything. But it was brilliant to have that reception and just to share that moment with them. They're a great bunch of fans, and very knowledgeable, and they know how I want to play, and they're right behind it, and I'm loving that.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.
You play Shrewsbury in 2 weeks, don't you? That might be a timely time to get back on the touchline.
I don't know. Honestly, the Shrewsbury game will be great. I mean, it would be great to go back and see so many friendly faces. We had some good times there, you know. And obviously, I left with probably a quick exit. You know, people didn't expect it, but there's things that obviously I don't want to say, but with the reasons I came here, and it was all done correctly. You know, it was not as though it's like transferring a player, we transferred a manager, and that's how it happened. But yeah, I've got good memories at Shrewsbury. You know, we beat Birmingham. I think we were the only team to beat Birmingham and Wrexham last year in the same season. You know, so some real nice memories, some great players up there, and yeah, either if I'm in the stand or in the dugout, I'm expecting a little bit of stick, but that's the pantomime of football. You know, it's a nice place, and got good memories from there.
And this one coming up, then you mentioned, I think you said there's similar styles maybe that coming from Barnet as you did Crawley. I mean, similar game, no?
Yeah,
for the neutral.
Yeah, I mean, if you say it'd be entertaining. You know, I say that probably games don't end 0-0 with Gillingham, and I think we've had one. I think is it since I've been here. You know, so I don't even know if we've had one, or I don't think we've had one. We've had 1-0 against, but we always seem to score, which is something that we're really proud of. You know, there's very few games we've failed to score in this season. You know, really few games, and I'm looking forward to pitting my wits again against the manager who does like to keep possession of the ball and try and play a certain way. You know, but you also got to respect that way because they've earned some good results this season already. I think they're only 3 points off us, you know, so they've had a hell of a season. Because we've had a decent season so far, and to be 3 points off us is, you got to go, wow, brilliant. So we've got to make sure that we're on this. We're at home, which is going to be really important for me. I like being at home. But yeah, it won't be the same as Crawley, but I think it's another team that do like having the ball, and we're going to make sure that we make the most of the ball when we have it.
Does that make the preparations easier with the players, the fact that it's similar again?
No. Honestly, it's not like that. It's different every week, and I think the boys know that every week I come up, I tweak things and just you know, we slightly make adjustments because something's gone wrong or the opposition were playing. But yeah, momentum's great in football when it's going well. You don't have to tweak too much, you know. But last week, like I say, just losing a bit of control of the game. I thought at times we needed to change, and that's been in my mind from last week. So there's things that I want to do this Saturday that hopefully will rectify that.